Hello everybody and welcome back to the channel. My name is Brianna and this is For Pause in a Book. I make book and lifestyle related content, so if that's something that you're interested in, make sure that you hit that subscribe button down below. Today we're going to be talking about if we can trust BookTok. BookTok, if you don't know, is the book subdivision of TikTok, much like BookTube is the subdivision of YouTube. It's a weird place. I am finding this out. The weird thing about BookTok, which I guess we see it on BookTube to a certain extent, but literally everyone is talking about the same books. And it's one of those things that if you're trying to talk about books that are not these 10 or 15 of the same exact book, you're not going to get the same traction on your videos or your reel, whatever. Are they videos? I don't know. Your shorts? Whatever they're called. Anyways, you're not going to get the same traction as if you were talking about these list of books. So this birthed an entire series. This is going to be a year-long series, not talking about BookTok every time. Basically, we're going to be talking about who we can trust. So it might be BookTok, it might be Instagram, it might be Goodreads, and it also might be BookTubers. Yes, that's coming too. So if you have ideas for this, I don't have all 12 of them mapped out yet, but I am trying to do one a month. So if you have any either BookTubers or BuzzFeed or whatever, leave them down in the comments and we'll talk about it. That being said, let's talk about BookTok this month. I have picked 4 of what I would deem BookTok's babies, BookTok's popular books, whatever. There's a lot of them and some of them I've read and some of them I haven't. And what's really interesting is that it's books that were popular on BookTube years ago. So they're having this resurgence, and I don't know what it is about it. But the Grishaverse, I kind of get, because Shadow and Bone did get its time in the spotlight again in the past year. But specifically, The Six of Crows is the popular book on BookTok. Red, White, and Royal Blue, huge on BookTok. And that was really popular, in 2018, 2019? So, we're a couple years behind the times. Colleen Hoover, I don't know what it is about that woman, but Colleen Hoover. Now, it's not the same books that were being talked about on BookTube 4 and 5 years ago, but it's still Colleen Hoover, and I don't know. Who knows? There's also some books that are objectively not great that are really popular on BookTok, and everyone is talking about them. The Selection series. Now, I did read this in 2018 when it was very popular. And even then, I was thinking I might have been a little bit behind the times, but that was my first year on BookTube. And I liked them originally, but I know for a fact that if I were to read them again, they would be hot garbage, which is why I unhauled them last year. Also, Jenny Han, but not her To All the Boys I've Loved Before. It's her other series, which I think is older. It's The Summer I Turned Pretty, something like that. I don't know. No one ever talks about that book. But everyone does on BookTok. The Caraval series, again, a very old book. I read the finale to that trilogy in 2019, which means that the book, the original book, had to have been 5 years old at this point, and yet it's very popular. So I don't know. The one thing I think that stands the testament of time on BookTube and BookTok is Evelyn Hugo. You can't see it behind my bushes. Evelyn Hugo gets just love everywhere. So does Daisy Jones and the Six on BookTok. That one gets a lot of love and support. Oddly enough, Malibu Rising does not. My TikTok is not books. I try to stay off of BookTok. Just because I already watch BookTube, and so BookTok, the algorithm has not, occasionally it'll sprinkle it in there, but for the most part, I have to go search it out. So that's what I did. So I picked 4 books that we're going to be talking about, and I'm going to try to wrap this up really quickly so we can actually get on to the vlog. But here's what we're going to be talking about. For the first book, I decided I would jump in full force with Colleen Hoover. I've never read a Colleen Hoover book before. I feel like I had one on my TBR a long time ago and then just never picked it up. So here we go. This is going to be the first Colleen Hoover that I've read. And It Ends With Us is probably the most popular book, or Colleen Hoover book on BookTok. This one and Ugly Love, I think, are probably like the 2 most popular ones. Verity, I think, to a certain extent, but not nearly as much as this one. So this is the one we're going to start with. For book 2, I wanted to go in a completely different direction, and I picked up The Inheritance Games by Jennifer Lynn Barnes. This is a YA thriller, and BookTok compares it to Knives Out, which also has like a real big hold on the TikTok community. Don't know why, but that's what this is, and we're gonna read it. YA thrillers tend to be like, it's funny. BookTok has 2 different camps. It's YA thrillers, so things like The Inheritance Games and A Good Girl's Guide to Murder is a really big one, and then the Karen McManus ones, I think, like those. And then you have the Colleen Hoover, like the adult romance, although like Colleen Hoover's more like dark contemporary, but you know what I mean. And then like super spicy, smutty, like The Deal by Elle Kennedy, or like J.R. Ward, I think, or Neon Gods by Katie Robert, which is going to be book 3 in this little adventure that we are doing. Now, I have read Katie Robert before, so I know that I like already love her writing. I have read the first 3 books in the Wicked Villain series. Really, really excited to start picking this one up. I have heard mixed things about this. Some people say that they really liked Wicked Villains, and then this one was just okay. And then some people really liked this one that didn't love the Wicked Villain series as much. So we'll see which camp I'm going to be in. And book 4 is definitely a testament to how big BookTok is getting, because this book won a Goodreads award and was nominated in a couple different categories. So that's going to be The Spanish Love Deception by Elena Armas. This is, I don't even think, was traditionally published originally, and because of the popularity on BookTube or on BookTok, it like kind of blew up, and it's getting traditionally published now. So this is a contemporary romance about 2, I think they're co-workers, and then they have to have a fake dating arrangement so that she can bring someone to her sister's wedding, because she accidentally tells her very familial, like matriarchal mother that she has a boyfriend, and she does in fact not. So she like recruits this other guy to come to the wedding, and I'm sure there will be tons of chaos and adventure. Now, this one I'm a little bit worried about. I'm probably the most worried about, and that is because on BookTok it's getting a ton of love, but from people that I trust and have very similar opinions to on BookTube, this did not do well, and it's not going over as well. So we'll see where I land. And yeah, let's just get into the vlog portion of this. I'm going to try to update you guys as much as possible throughout this adventure. So let's get started.
I've been haunted by the past nights. I remind you of the bad times. I've been blinded by the gaslight. I've been blinded by the... Last night I said some shit I can't take back a little bit.
Let's talk book 1. I'm actually in the middle of 2 books right now, but we're going to start with the first one. And that's It Ends With Us by Colleen Hoover. I'm a little over 50% of the way through this, and I didn't know what to think about it at first. I thought this was a romance. And I think it's a romance. It's just it's a weird romance in the way that like My Dark Vanessa is a romance. Which it's not. I definitely think that these type of books, like if you like Colleen Hoover, you would like My Dark Vanessa, or Bad Romance by Heather Demetrios, I think would also be like right up your alley if you liked these books. I did have to text a friend who actually recommended this to me, and I was like, we're not supposed to like him, right? Like, he is an asshole, because like not the first time you meet him, but very, very shortly after meeting him,
he just like barges into a room and is like, I want to have sex with you. And she's like, no. And he doesn't take no for an answer. And for me, like, that's a hard line. So there are parts of me that are like, sorry, you're going to hear the heater. So there are definitely parts of me that like question why she's with him. But then at the same time, like knowing her past and knowing her history and how her mother went through the same stuff, I kind of see it. Would I have made the same decisions? I don't know. But yeah, I'm liking it. I'm going to try to finish this up today. And yeah, I'm not going to talk about the second book because this is going to get confusing. But we're going to try to do this a little bit more organized. So when I get a little bit farther, I'm only at like 40 pages into the first one or the second one. So when I get a little bit farther in and actually like know a little bit about what's going on, then I will talk to you about that one. Cool? Okay. Have a good night.
Okay, I was editing this video and I realized I didn't finish this part out. Sorry, my necklace is super shiny today. I did finish It Ends With Us by Colleen Hoover. I think I'm giving this 4 stars. This is a really weird book in the sense that, like, it's very dark and it's not something that, like, you're not supposed to root for this romance or anything like that. Are there problems with this book in the actual, like, plot and storyline? Absolutely. Like, I don't want to go into spoilers, but, like, it's not perfect. The way she treats Ryle, or the way she handles the situation with Ryle, not so great. It's also, I was watching Bethany's vlog when she was reading this, and I'll link it down below. It was an excellent vlog, and she talks a lot more, like, a little more critically about this book than probably I did when I was reading it. But it's like, in 2022, it's a little weird to be reading about Ellen in such a positive light, because she kind of was canceled. So that was a little awkward, but yeah, I still really liked this. I don't know why. Like, I will probably read more Colleen Hoover. Maybe not like right away, because it's definitely not something that you can read in like quick succession, because these are hard books to read. But yeah, I actually enjoyed this, and I think maybe BookTok was right. The only thing with it is that BookTok generally is younger people, and I don't know, maybe this actually would help someone like who may not realize that they're in a domestic abuse situation, maybe see some signs and see some flags. My concern is that they would kind of excuse some of his behavior at the beginning, or romanticize it even, and that is a little concerning. So I guess there's a little bit of a like asterisk as far as like, should BookTok be recommending this book? Maybe. I don't know. I don't know that I have an answer for that. 40 minutes now, I gotta quit. I guess I did it for the hell of it. All right, we're on to book 2. Excuse the messy look. It's late, and I'm about to go to bed. But I figured I would talk to you about The Inheritance Games by Jennifer Lynn Barnes. Now, this one's funny because when I was picking out the books for this video, I wanted to pick books that like I already kind of had on my TBR, or because like I am trying to read down my own physical TBR. So partially that, and then like anyways, my point in saying that is that since picking those books, which was like 2 or 3 months ago, this book is not really on TikTok as much anymore. I mean, it kind of is. A couple people still really talk about it, but it's definitely not as popular as Colleen Hoover or anything like that. We're just going to pretend like this is still a thing. Cool? Okay, so I am over halfway through this. This is a really interesting book, and it started out really, really strong. The chapters are so short. I mean, and I'm talking like 2 to 3 pages. Which, like, I like short chapters, but this might be excessive. Like, I'm on page, just like for clarification, I'm on page 220, and it's chapter 54. So, like, very short chapters. So that being said, it's still very fast-paced. There's, like, a lot of, it's more like mystery than it is thriller. It definitely has, like, Westing Games vibes. And, like, the TikToks that I was seeing was equating it to Knives Out. And I can see that equation. But yeah, I am enjoying this. I did actually go out and buy the sequel today because I'm really afraid that this is going to end on a cliffhanger, and I don't want to do that. Plus,
it's another series. We love that. So anyways, yeah, this is about a girl who is basically living in her car. She has a pretty fucked up home life. And then she gets, like, summoned by this really rich dude in Texas. And, like, come to find out she is the heir or the heiress to this billions and billions of dollars. She now owns an NFL team. She owns, like, these foundations and things like that. It's a lot. And so they're trying to figure out, both her and one of the grandsons are trying to figure out why. Because she'd never met this guy, so she said. So it's interesting because you're trying to figure it along with her because she doesn't know and you're in her head. So I have some ideas. I don't think I'll be able to finish it tonight, but I will check in with you when I do finish it. Excuse the poor lighting and the messy kitchen, but I just finished the Inheritance games and I figured I would let you know that. But I also realized that it is almost 6 o'clock and I have a meeting at 6 o'clock and I hadn't made any food yet, like at all today. It's been an interesting couple of days. Well, really past 24 hours. So I leave for Brazil very soon. And I found out last night that I was exposed to COVID. So it's been overwhelming. So I went and got tested this morning, but I probably won't know anything until Saturday. So that's fun. I love that for me. But you're not here to talk about that. You're here to talk about books. This isn't like a real vlog. This is a vlog where you can't see my face because the lighting is so bad. What if I don't really know what I'm doing. Okay. The Inheritance games. I don't know what to rate it. Like, it was very good. It was definitely like edge of your seat kind of video. Okay, this is gonna bug me. We're just gonna do this, okay? We're just gonna talk. We're just gonna chill. Okay, so it was very edge of your seat. The chapters were very short. It was pretty good. Was it a perfect book? No. It still definitely had like YA thrillers and like the family tree is so large, I need a visual. That would have been nice to have in the book, is a visual. I didn't get that. And I don't know like who's related to who and everything like that. And like the age, like how old are these people that they're having like that they're having like this weird a little bit kind of relationship with the main character. Also, how old is the main character? I don't really know. That's probably me not paying attention though. That's probably not the book's fault. Like I was saying before, it's not really as popular on TikTok as I thought it was. I don't know if I was just like in this little like hole of BookTok where I kept seeing the videos. I don't know, but here we are. I read it. Let's move on to book 3.
Oh, am I attracted to this? No. Am I? No.
Don't you hate when people assume that just because you read Greek mythology retellings that you know anything about Greek mythology? Ma'am, no. I learned all my history from Neon Gods and Touch of Darkness, so I don't know anything. So when people ask me who my favorite god is and I respond, Hades, and they say, he's not a good dude, I'm like, he's a cupcake at heart, actually, so you're just reading the wrong history books.
Moving to a little bit of a different location for book number 3, and I am about halfway through Neon Gods by Katie Robert. This book is phenomenal. I am obsessed. I am blown away with how good this book is. I mean, I love the Wicked Villain series, which is why I knew I would like this. There was definitely, like, there were a few comments on my TBR video that said, like, oh, this one was only mediocre compared to Wicked Villain. So I had a little bit of hesitation, but, like, just phenomenal. The tension between Hades and Persephone, it's just so good. Like, I'm gonna get demonetized if I actually talk about this book in detail because it is so much more
Like, I mean, is it more than Wicked Villains? I don't know. Like, I don't know if it's more, but so spicy. So good, though. So this is a Hades and Persephone retelling. I'm not, like, hugely familiar with Greek gods and their, like, role in, like, so it's kind of fun to kind of learn about them in a really false way, if that makes any sense. But, I mean, Hades is a cinnamon roll. And we love him. We love him. This is how to do alpha male while still being cinnamon roll. Katie Robert has nailed it. This book is so good, and I'm gonna go finish the rest of it now. This is turning into such a good vlog. I should have listened to BookTok way sooner. Just saying. Yes, I am in the same outfit that I was during the intro because I just filmed the intro. That it is what it is. I finished Neon Gods by Katie Robert yesterday, and I'm officially obsessed with this book. This was my first 5-star read of 2022, and like, what a ride it was. This is phenomenal. This is next level writing from Wicked Villains, much like I talked about earlier. I will say that if you're going into this book for a plot, you will be sorely disappointed. Because much like her other kind of mafia romances, this, like, the plot is very secondary to the relationship. So Persephone and Hades, they are the main focus. And there is this, like, territory war between Zeus and Hades, much like there is in the myths. And it's very... like, there's very convenient things that happen, and the entire, like, war gets wrapped up in, like, the last 15% of the book, and then they go have more sex. Like, this is about the relationship between Persephone and Hades, and let me tell you, that relationship is pristine. The characters were phenomenal. So yes, I am giving this 5 stars. Last night I went on NetGalley, and Electric Idol, which is the second book in this series, it comes out on Tuesday. But I went on NetGalley, and I was like, maybe I can just get an ARC. And so I put in for both the physical and the audio copy, or like the ARC copy. And this morning I got an email that I have the ARC copy of this. So as soon as I finish the last book for this video, you better believe that's what I'm going... That's what I'm going to be reading. So yes, love this book, love this series. Cannot wait to read the next one. So I'm just going to go ahead and move right into my next book because I did start it this morning.
Stop what you're doing, shut up, and read this book. This one right here.
The Spanish Love Deception by Elena Armas. Now I'm about 25% of the way through this, and so far, like, especially just finishing Neon Gods, this book is a huge letdown, and I just couldn't care. The book has given me no reason to, like, root for this relationship. It's given me no reason to really, like, care about the characters yet. It's very, very surface level. So it's a huge disappointment going into it. I'm hoping that it picks up. I read some, like, very mixed reviews about this on Goodreads, so we'll see. I don't want to end this video on a DNF or really, like, on a negative, like, I don't know, maybe I'm going to have to read another book for this. I'm kidding, I'm not doing that. After, like, having some pretty good books, this kind of felt like a disappointment so far. But again, only 25% of the way in, so I will update you when I'm a little bit farther. Normally I don't check in quite as often, but I am 50% of the way through The Spanish Love Deception, and I have to say I hate it. I don't know why BookTok loves this so much. Aaron, is that his name? He is just a complete cardboard cutout of a man. He's not, like, there's nothing to him. There's no development. There's no backstory. Like, why am I supposed to care about him? And he's a cardboard cutout right now. And I don't have any feelings about this relationship. And it's just, like, I love the family. Like, her family is so great. They're just so funny. And that's great. But I don't care about this relationship. And I don't want to DNF this book. Because, like, I'm trying not to DNF stuff this year. And I also do not want to end this on a bad note. So I am going to finish it. I'm going to finish it on audio. So we'll just go from there. So I'm gonna go do some work and probably listen to the audiobook. So I finished The Spanish Love Deception, and I'm giving it 2.5 stars. I didn't like it. And I hate that we're ending this video experiment on such a down low, because everything else was actually really good. Not perfect, but good. And then there was this one, and this was just not it. There were a lot of things about this book that could have been great. So here's the thing. She's a debut author. I think that her writing will improve, and I think that some of it's there. The foundation is there, but there was just so much that this needed to be more thoroughly edited. There's scenes that definitely need to be taken out. This was almost a 500-page book. The only other 500-plus page romance book that I have read is 50 Shades of Grey. And we all know that book also needed an editor. So, there were just so many, pacing issues, and the fact that, the first half of the book felt like a completely different book from the second half. I'm reading a ton of romance right now. I'm just kind of, falling into this groove where I'm really enjoying it. And because of that, I actually had to think about, what was going on in this book towards the end. And I was like, oh, yeah, no, that charity auction, that was this book. That was not another book that I was reading. It was just, it felt so long and drawn out, even though it was only 2 weeks of their life or whatever it is. I also think that the character development was just not there. Despite having so many things going on, we don't learn about the characters enough until way too late in the book, and at that point I don't care about the romance, and I don't care about if they get together or if they have a happily ever after. I just don't. I also think that there were some weird throw-ins of eating disorders, which was a little bit weird. It was just her trying to lose weight for the wedding to basically see because she was going to see her family again and she wanted to look good, and then it was one conversation with Aaron, and that is all gone. We never spoke of it again. And I'm just eye roll. Little bit of eye roll here. And I think that my biggest problem with this book is that it was a slow burn. And not because it was a slow burn. I don't mind a slow burn romance. It's not my favorite trope, but I don't mind it. However, if you're going to have a slow burn romance, you have to have a payoff. You have to, the end has to justify the means. And it didn't. The actual scene where they, finally, everything is released, it was disappointing. And it was a fine scene. The scene was fine. But because we had 350 plus pages leading up to it of just tension, It wasn't this geyser exploding type of release. It was just okay, well, that was fun. And so, it just, it left me as the reader really disappointed. So, 2.5 stars. I didn't love it. So, sorry about that. But let's talk about, as a whole, what we think about this experiment. So, can we trust BookTok? Based on these 4 books. Obviously, there's a ton of books that BookTok really recommends. I think that this is definitely, some of their biggest ones, at least the 3. We talked about the Inheritance Games and it, just falling off the face of the planet, but it's fine. But I think that the scope of what I read really encompasses the different genres that are really, promoted on BookTok, and that is Colleen Hoover. For whatever reason, Colleen Hoover really gets promoted, and I don't know why, but for whatever reason, they love her there. And I think that It Ends With Us was definitely the most popular of her books, at least on BookTok. So I think that's a good representation, and I liked it. Were there problems with this book? Absolutely. I'm going to link Bethany's video about BookTok and Colleen Hoover down below. It was a very interesting video, and I highly recommend that you check it out. She did not like the book as much as I did. Spoiler, but I think that it definitely had its merits. The second book, The Inheritance Games, YA thrillers specifically are really popular there. And I think that makes sense because there's a very Gen Z audience and there's a younger demographic than I think there is on BookTube. So that makes sense. There's another one, A Good Girl's Guide to Murder. That's another really popular YA thriller, and I like probably should have read that one, but we read this one instead because I owned it already. And then we have Neon Gods, and this is definitely one that like took BookTok by storm early on in its release. So like Colleen Hoover has been around for a long time. The Inheritance Games is I think like a 2020 release, so like it's kind of like gaining steam a little bit later, but BookTok loves its smut a lot, and it likes its kinky smut. So this one definitely, like all of Katie Roberts' books, kind of fall into that category. But then there's also like Sierra Simone, and Elle Kennedy I don't think has like kinky, but like she's a big one too. I've never read an Elle Kennedy book, so I don't know if it's like BDSM or anything like that. And then like Penelope Douglas, which like Punk 57, Birthday Girl, those ones also real smutty, real taboo, and those ones get a lot of love too. And then lastly, The Spanish Love Deception, which was kind of like the birth of this book was born on BookTok. I think that this author is on BookTok or on TikTok itself, so I think that's why she has a really big presence there. But this book came to BookTok before it came to BookTube, which I think is like the interesting outlier of the other three. This one's the only one that's really different, and that's that BookTok is really talking about this one, really loving this one. BookTube, not so much, which I think is an interesting conversation there. I don't know what it means, but I think that the people that I've really like, that I trust and have very similar reading taste to, do not love this one on BookTube, but on BookTok everyone loves it. So I don't know. This is an interesting experiment. I think there's a lot more we can talk about, but I don't have time, so we're just gonna leave it at that. Let me know if you have anything to say about BookTok and the popular books on there. Let me know down in the comments, so we'll talk there. That is all I have for you today. If you are new here and you have not yet subscribed, there's a little red button that you can do so down below the video, and all of the other links to my social media will be in the description below if you'd like to be my friend on any other platform. Thank you all for watching, and I will see you next time.